Hello and welcome to Die Rolling. I'm the ever excitable Adam, and last night I played Nemesis Lockdown Chytrids. So the Chytrids are a fungal species, and let me tell you, there is not much room for error here. So I played this last night, and I filmed it, and I edited it together, and here it is for you. So join me afterwards and we'll have a brief discussion about thoughts and feelings on the Chytrids. Here we are, back for Nemesis Lockdown, and we're playing the Chytrids. Apologies for any mispronunciations that I do, because I will be making quite a few. One of the oldest and largest living things on the face of the earth is a fungus, a colony of Amaryllia gallica, so vast its hyphae span over 90 acres of a Michigan forest. Its estimated age is 2,500 years, its total mass is around 400,000 kilograms. Yet when we think of alien life, we conjure images of predators and life forms similar to us, independent agents with limbs, senses, and their own free will. The species we know as Chytrids thoroughly tests these assumptions. More related to Amaryllia than us, it is nevertheless an extreme threat, born on some distant world where fungoids were the apex predators. In our several known encounters, it proved intelligent enough to anticipate and preempt our moves. Like every good parasite, it can grow through our structures and ships without destroying them, at least not until it means to. Once it begins to grow, it is almost impossible to stop. A single shred of surviving mycelium is enough for the infection to reoccur in mere days. What's worse, various deadly spores and special purpose-built drones the Chytrid organism releases proved capable of defeating even the most battle-hardened crews. All analysed encounters confirm that the only things that seemed to tip the scale in human favour were heavy-duty environmental suits and industrial flamethrowers. And while the thought of developing a chemical agent to combat Chytrids is tempting, I would advise caution. Attempting to study them in a laboratory setting might have consequences far more devastating than losing a single ship every now and then. Well, they didn't listen to that person's warnings, because we are currently in the facility on Mars and they've been experimenting with Chytrids. So Chytrids are these fungal, horrible creatures which will, or one single creature maybe, that's essentially trying to overtake the base. Let's take a quick look at the Chytrids laboratory board. Now this is different to all the other laboratory boards because we've got all these interesting things here. Now these ones are Germinators and they come in green and purple. Now Germinators have 3 pips on them. They have a single pip, a double pip, and a triple pip. And if you're ever going to, essentially when you upgrade these, if you ever go from a 3, you're going to exchange that for a mycelium, which looks like a big bit of snot. So these things are going to go around, and these are, you can't remove these from the board. They're just essentially a way to. So yeah, they can't be removed. And once you can't place any more of them in the game is over. The whole facility is basically, they've decided actually it's too far gone. Like the other intruders, they also have their own weaknesses. So the weakness that we have discovered is a reaction to danger. The value of tokens when resolving surprise attacks is reduced by 1 to a minimum of 1. So they come in 3 different types. We have stinkhorns, which are essentially the tentacles of the queen itself, I believe. And the death caps, these guys are pretty deadly when they get moving. And then good old queen herself. The queen is pretty tough and horrible. The queen has, we've got a special dial thing here because the queen has got some additional help with her arms here. So every time you remove an arm, when you're attacking the queen, you look at the value that's on here and adding that to whatever card you've revealed. So when you normally attack an alien, you're going to be looking at the Chytrid attack card, and there'll be a value in the top right corner. You will be looking at the lowest valued number on here and adding that to the value. So the more arms you get rid of, the more stinkhorns gone, the more chance you are going to have to destroy it. It's also worth noting that we're going to be placing spores down. So every time we move out of a room, we're going to be looking at the exploration token, and whatever number is on the exploration token, we'll be placing one of these in the room that is down the corridor that matches that. They don't go into the technical corridors, thank God. And if you're ever going to place one of these spores onto another spore, they turn into a Germinator. And then obviously when Germinator gets to level 4, it's a mycelium. So it's kind of like, I guess it's like pandemic in a way. Not much else to say about that, apart from they've got their own bag of, well, not their own bag, but they've got their own tokens in here. That's what they're looking like. This is our board at the moment. So just to remind you, if you haven't seen my other Nemesis video, then I'll explain the board a bit for you. And also, I did make some mistakes last time, and I probably will make some mistakes this time because there's a lot going on in the game of Nemesis. So the facility is broken into 3 sections, Section 1, Section 2, and Section 3. We have got our contingency tokens in here. There is one over there. I do not know what that is. We have our time tracker up there, and you'll notice that we have a power section there. That number 2 in the power thing there, that is saying that this whole section is powered. So these 3 rooms are powered, and that means we can't be snuck upon. And it also means that we can use computer actions in this area. The elevator is also powered on, so the middle section, Section 2 and Section 3 are also powered off. We have 2 characters this time. We have our friend the lab rat, who is a survivor. The lab rat is coming out of this isolation room, and she has a mission, and her mission is no stone unturned. Send the signal and all rooms must be explored. All fields must be filled to send this report. Don't know who she's reporting to, but there's that. And then this time our facility worker is the Sentry, and the Sentry has got unconventional medicine. Finished the game with an Intruder carcass object. You wouldn't believe how much I can get for their powdered body parts. Now, the Sentry starts with a weapon, so an SMG. Each time you perform a shoot action with this weapon, discard 1 or 2 ammo. For each discarded ammo, roll the combat die. Check injuries after each successful hit. And he's got a battle suit. So if we can get to cargo sending system A, we can flip this around, and we've got this pretty cool battle suit. Your character ignores rules for slime and fire damage. You can escape the facility without using the rover, and in darkness, use an advantage die when shooting and ignore all darkness effects for you. So that's pretty handy. So we're going to try and do that, I think. The lab rat has Whale, which it's a one-time use ability, and you can remove a noise marker from each corridor in the section you're in, or you can place a noise marker in each corridor without a noise marker in the section you're in, whatever way you want to do it. But we have to get to the nest to do this. One of the things I got wrong last time was removing noise when we are doing the remove noise from a powered on section. I will get to that when we get to that, but essentially if we are removing noise, we keep noise that are connected to rooms with characters in. So if we had noise here and there, we could remove that one because there's no character in here. Whoop, now I know that's fine. Character in here, and there's no character in there, but I'd have to keep these 2 because there's a character in there. So the lab rat is starting in the isolation room, and as a passive thing in the isolation room, you get to draw an additional card. So she's going to be drawing 6 cards this round instead of 5. She finds weird metabolism. Discard a slime marker or discard 1 contamination card from your hand to draw 2 cards from your deck. That's one of her special abilities. She has a search. She has basic repairs. Discard a malfunction marker from the room you're in. Feel of the Dark, another special one for her. Discard this card during the event phase to ignore the in darkness effect of an event for you. Or in darkness, discard this card during a surprise attack to ignore its effect. She has a rest. And finally, an interruption card, and these are just used to buy actions when you are playing the co-op game. And also one last thing, we have computer actions see out. So you can choose one room, discard a fire marker from that room. If there is one, all intruders in the room retreat, or swap 2 chosen power tokens, or peek at the contingency of any other player in the same section as you're in. And we do get to have a look at one of these contingencies, and we know that kill all in the isolation room is not one of those contingencies. So if we can get in the isolation room, we know we're not going to die unless, well, we'll see what the other contingencies say, I guess. So my plan here is to try to get to the backup power generator, which means I'll be able to turn the power on in the facility, and it will give us a bit of a better chance to fight back against the darkness and the Chytrid Menace. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use my interruption card to move one space into here. The exploration phase works as so. So we still flip it over. So we're going to flip this over, and we found the testing lab. And for a knowledge 4, you can take a neutralizer. She's not quite there yet. It's on fire and it is level 4. So there's 4 items in there. So now we have to place a spore marker in whatever number that is. So we follow this along, and there is a spore marker in this room here. Then we resolve the special effect, which is a fire. And we can remove this. Next, we have to roll for noise. And we got a 3, which is back the way we came. And if we stay in here this round, we are going to get burnt. So we don't want to do that. We're going to discard the rest card to move her into this room where the spores are. So we found the cave entrance. You can move through technical corridors through this. It is level 3, and we are slimed. The 3 would produce a spore through there, but we can't put it in a technical corridor. And we have noise the way we're going. And of course, she slimed. Okay, so that's the end of her turn. We go to the Sentry now. So we need to explore all rooms. So the Sentry's going to go up here. That's going to be his first thing, but let's find out what we've got first. So the Sentry has some repairs. Quarantine, this is a special one for them. If you're in a room with a computer, you may choose any room and close all doors in the corridors connected to that room, which might be handy in this game to try and stop the spread of these spores. A search card. Defense plan. If you're in a white or red room, use its room action without paying its cost. Ooh. Check any 2 unexplored tiles, but do not look at their exploration tokens. This might be handy to try and figure out where the signal room is. And then a rest card. So we're going to use that rest card straight away. We're going to move them up there. Now we know that's on fire because I unfortunately flipped that, but never mind. So it's on fire, and we've got a 3. So let's flip this over first. So we found the defense control room, exterminate the threat. And that is 3. We don't place a spore because the spore would be going into the technical corridor. We do, however, place fire. And we roll for noise. We've got a 3, which is in the technical corridor, the worst place for it to go. So I'm going to discard his search card to move him into there. And there's no spores or anything, so we roll, we get a 1. I'm so close to that I can feel it. We're going to use our search and weird metabolism cards to carefully move into this room here, which means we get to place the noise where we want to. And of course, we're going to place it this away. And then for her last action, we're going to use her last 2 cards to activate the backup power supply. So we are going to get this number 1 from there and swap that over. And actually, do you know what? We're going to have the elevator have 4. So we got 1 there, 4 there, 3 there, and 2 up there. And we also flip over our event token there, and that is the end of the lab rats go. So we're moving into here. We found the vent control room, which is pretty cool. Got some fire control there, and we don't have to roll for noise. 1 item in here, and that the spore is going into there. So this was a really advantageous room for us to find. at this point in the game. So with this, you can choose a room with a technical corridors entrance. The corridors connected to the room you choose must not contain any destroyed doors. Close the doors in each corridor connected to the chosen room. Remove a fire marker from that room and place the venting token there to represent the active emergency venting out. If any of the doors and corridors connected to that room are opened or destroyed before the current player phase end, remove this token immediately. The token remains in the room at the end of the current player phase. Everything in the room dies immediately, both characters and intruders. So he's in a really helpful place there. And do you know what? We're going to actually use that straight away to get rid of the fire up here, because fire can go out of control in this game. So we are venting that area. Sentry. Ugh. I was doing so well then. Okay, so we're going to just keep hold of his last card in case we need it. And the venting token is just placed in there. So we don't have any CSS pods to launch. So we move the track. And now we remove any noise that isn't connected to a room with a character in powered on sections. So we can remove this noise here. And we can also remove this noise here. Now we resolve an event card. Droplet infection. So if we had any Germinators, we would basically be upgrading them. This grey marker here means we would be spreading spores through one if we had one of these on the board. Place a small marker in each room containing a character with a slime marker. Each character in these rooms gets a slime marker and a contamination room. A card. So yeah, we only have one person with a slime marker on, which is our lab rat. She's already got a slime marker, but she hasn't got a contamination card, so she's going to grab one of these. So that's added to her discard pile. And that's the end of the event. So now do Intruder bag development. And we get, we return this token to the Intruder bag and perform a noise roll in order. So starting with our lab rat, a 1, so that triggers oh, well, look at that. So we found the queen. If you're in the room with a Germinator or Mycelium, place the queen there and resolve a surprise attack. Put this token aside. If not, place a Germinator there and a noise marker in each corridor connected to the room in which this encounter took place. Put this token aside. So we'll place that with our very first Germinator. And we can actually destroy these things. Okay, and we have a noise roll for our slightly different looking Sentry, who I was using the Survivor one for. He got a 3, and that's not going to disturb him too much. So we're going to draw now. We have 4 cards. So we get an interruption. We get a search card, a stun. Choose a character in the room you are in with 3 or fewer items in hand. They discard all cards from the hand, or discard one of your weapons to make an intruder retreat to a chosen neighbouring room. And a facility saw. Move yourself and up to one other character in the room you are in. They do not have to agree to a chosen neighbouring room. Ignore the effect of an expiration token. Perform a noise roll as per normal rules. Okay, so I'm going to perform a search first. So we're in a yellow ring. We've run out of items in the event control room. But what have we found? We either have an emergency access. If you're in the elevator room, call the elevator and use it even if there is no power in the elevator. Or we have a melee weapon wrench. Discard the wrench, roll the combat die and deal injuries as in a shoot action, or open closed doors in the corridor connected to the room you're in. That is definitely what we're going to grab. So we've now got a wrench. So it's his first action. I'm going to use the interruption card to move to the repository. And we got a 2. Over to our lab rat, who we were using the correct character for from the beginning. Right, they unfortunately drew their contamination card, so it's essentially one less action this round. They found a search card, a sensitive hearing card, discard a noise marker from a chosen corridor connected to the room you're in, or place a noise marker in a chosen corridor connected to the room you're in. Inconspicuous, discard this card when an intruder attacks you and there is another character in the room you are in. The intruder attacks this character instead of you, or in darkness, discard this card when you have to perform a noise roll during the intruder bag development step of the event phase. You do not have to perform this roll. And then finally, we have demolition. So we're just going to use our demolition card to move along here. And we're slimed, so that's the same as a danger, which means we have noise everywhere. And for our second action, we're going to use our sensitive hearing. We're going to discard a noise marker. I'm going to get rid of this one here. Our Sentry is going to use their stun to move into here. And noise back the way they came. And then they're going to use the facility saw to move into this room. And we'll get to ignore it if it's a fire, so that's pretty handy. So we found cargo sending system A, which, if you recall, is where we need to be to activate his battle suit. It is broken, so we're going to ignore the effect of an exploration token. So it isn't broken. That's pretty powerful. We still have to perform a noise roll though. No noise. We got a 1 on the exploration token though, so we do place a spore along here. Okay, we're going to discard her last 2 cards to move carefully into this area here, which we have found the CSS control room. So this is where you can see the cargo sending systems and what, exactly what is coming when. So you can pick a chosen CSS token. You may move it 1 slot in any direction on the time track. You cannot move a CSS token that's on the same slot as the time token. You cannot move a CSS token into a slot with another CSS token. So that's what we can do from there. We had the danger symbol come out, which means we have noise all around. And we had a 3 on the, so we have a spore going that away. And this is too good not to use, so I'm going to use my defense plan to craft the battle suit. So this guy is all tooled up now. So there's no CSS. We move the track. We remove noise now. So this entire top section is without noise. Now resolve an event. So if we had the queen out, they'd be moving 1, 2. And if we had purple Germinators, they would upgrade. Unhealthy air. Each character in a room with a Germinator or a mycelium marker gets a slime marker and a contamination card. Place a spore marker in each room with a character. Now Intruder bag development. We got an adult, which is perform a noise roll. So starting with our guy there. And unless this is a danger symbol, we are in a bit of trouble down here. It's not a danger symbol, it's a 2. So the nice thing is, we get rid of all the noise, including the one in the technical corridor. She has no cards, so if this is a surprise attack, she is going to be taking some damage, I imagine. So we find an adult, a stinkhorn even. So place a stinkhorn in this room and resolve a surprise attack. The warning value was 3 on there. So it would have been 2, but because of our knowledge, however, we didn't get that. So we take the take this one off. Stinkhorn appears, and we get budding. Place a Germinator in the room. The character gets a slime marker. We already have a slime marker. So that's gone. We have a Germinator here. And we are going to just try to escape out of there. So she's got interruptions card. So we're going to use that to move her into this room. Now we have to resolve a surprise attack. Yep, so there's a smash attack. This character has 2 serious wounds, they die. If not, they suffer 1 serious wound. Look at the size of that thing. So yeah, this massive mushroom tentacle comes in and deals 1 serious wound. And the serious wound we get is the eyes. You're always counted as being in darkness. Just to remind you, you can have 3 serious wounds, and then if you take 1 more point of damage, you die. Okay, so we have found the power generator, where you can stop auto-destruct sequence or power a section. No noise roll, but we treat that as a danger because we have slime. We need to get rid of that slime. And I have a card to do it as well. That's the frustrating thing about this. So we have a spore go down 2. And for our second action, we are going to use our weird metabolism to get rid of that slime marker. Okay, let's draw cards for our Sentry. So we have Demolition. And we've got to shuffle their deck. Repairs. Defense Plan, where you can, if you're in a room with a white or red room, you can use its room action without paying its cost. Quarantine, if you're in a room with a computer, you may choose any room and close all doors in the corridor connected to that room. And a search card. So we're going to use the demolition card here to move into this space here. We found a laboratory where we can analyze objects, which is pretty cool. It is, of course, on fire. I don't mind fire too much in this one because fire kills spores. We did have a 2 though, so the spore goes down the corridor. And we roll for noise. We got a 3. It's made noise and it's coming down there. So his second action, he's going to use his quarantine card to move into this room here. And he's found the archive where you can examine the archives. This gives you more knowledge, which is really handy. And it's broken though. If only I had a repair card on hand. We got a 1 for the... So that's in there. We got a 4, so it's made noise. A technical corridor, it's echoing down there. Okay, onto our lab rat. She's going to use 2 of her cards to use the rooms action to power up a section. So we're going to power up 3, which is really handy for our Sentry. Then she's going to use her last card to search. Nope. I can't search because I just searched that last time, didn't I? So instead of that, I'm going to just move. This could be really bad for her, but we're going to move down here. Hopefully this isn't fire. It's not, it's a door, so that's fine. And it is a decon room. Perform a decontamination procedure. So we have one item in here. Now, timing-wise, the spore happens first. So the spore gets through before the door can be closed. But it would have been, it wouldn't have been going that way anyway. Okay, so on to our Sentry. Sentry is going to use the search and repairs, well, using repairs with the search, paying for it to get rid of this marker. And then defense plan, if you're in a white or red room, use its room action without paying its cost. Simples. So we're going to use the archive. Gain 2 knowledge and flip your knowledge token to the active side, and pick any contingency token. So I believe I can take one from here. So one of the blues, kill all who did not send the signal. And that's the end of that, guys. I don't have any more cards left, so that's going to be the end of the round. No CSS, we move this down one. We then do noise removal. And we get rid of these two. And over here, we get rid of this one and that one. Next, we have fire damage. So this flame destroys the spore. And then we have an event card. Okay, so everything is spraying down 2. So what that means is down here, this is shooting spores into here, which turns this into a Germinator. And this one is placing, that one is also spreading spores down 2. Then all purples increase by 1. And you've got 1 purple out at the moment. Oh, sorry, that's a 3. So there we go. Each character with a spore marker on their character board dies. Each character with a slime marker places a spore marker on their character board. Each other character draws 4 cards from their deck and scans all drawn contamination cards. If they have at least 1 infected card, they place a spore marker onto their character board. And you discard all drawn cards. So, first player is still the lab rat. So, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. So those 4 are discarded, which you can't use them this turn. And then we just discard the top 4 cards from the Sentry because he doesn't have any contamination cards. So these 4 are now kaput. Intruder bag development. And we get a noise roll. Start with our first player. And we get a 2, which of course will bring something out. And we get another Stinkhorn. It does a surprise attack. If we had at least 1 card, we wouldn't have had to worry about that. But hopefully this isn't going to smash again. It's like they're chasing her down. Oh, it's a pseudopod. Place the queen in the room. If the character was attacked because of an escape action, place the queen in the room where the character has escaped. It does not attack. If there is no Germinator in the room, place 1 here or there. So, we found the queen. And it's brought a purple Germinator here. And then a noise roll for our Sentry. 4, which, unfortunately, triggers. And we get a blank. Place a noise marker in each corridor connected to the room in which the encounter took place. Return the blank token to the intruder bag. So that wasn't terrible, but it's not looking good for the lab rat, really, is it? And that's the end of this round. So we've got facility tour, interruption card, a stun card, a rest card, and a search card. We're going to use our rest card to move into here. And do you know what? I knew that was going to happen. Ugh. Oh, why bother? And we get a Stinkhorn out, and it's a 2. We have 4 cards in our hand. That's actually reduced by 1, so that's a 1. Now, the good thing is, because we have more Stinkhorns out, the Queen is going to be easier to kill. Doesn't surprise attack me. And do you know what? I need to kill one of these guys for one of my my objectives. So I am going to attack as my second action. So we're going to use an interruption card here to shoot. And because we're in a powered on section, we can use the blue dice. It takes 1 ammo to do this. And I'm going to actually get rid of 2 ammo. So I can roll 2 dice. Okay, so we can discard one of our cards to deal an injury to it. So yeah, I'll discard my search card, so I'll deal 1 injury. Now there are some pretty cool little kind of wound things, but I don't think they'll show up very well on camera, so I'm just going to put one of these here, like the original game. We check the Chytrid attack, and it's got a health of 3, so that's not dead, and that's the end of their go. Now we go to our doomed lab rat. You can just about make out there. She's drawn an inconspicuous weird metabolism arrest card, that contamination card we love, and a demolition. But what's really cool about her is our weird metabolism card. So we can discard 1 contamination card from your hand to draw 2 cards from your deck. So we're going to get rid of these 2 cards and draw 2 more cards. Okay, we're going to use our inconspicuous card to try to escape from this room. And I have to resolve 2 separate attacks for this, so this might go poorly. So our first attack, entangling, place a mycelium marker in the room. If the character has at least 1 serious wound, they die. If not, they suffer 1 light wound for each Stinkhorn on the Queen board. I have a serious wound. I die. The lab rat is dead. Wow, what a way to go. It's worth noting that we had our first character die. We remove the bunker door, the main gate from the bunker, so we can now escape if we need to. So let's go back to our only surviving character. Has 2 cards left. We're going to use our stun to attack. And we're going to roll. Actually, no, we're going to use our facility tool to attack. We'll use this, rolling 1 dice. And we got that. So that's 2 damage on them. Our Chytrid attack, of course, is a 5, so it's still alive. And then we're going to shoot again for our last action. So I have no more cards left. And we get this one. So we deal 1 injury. If we discarded another card, we could deal more, but we don't. And we get a 3, so we've smashed this. We've killed it. So that's gone. And we have our Intruder carcass on the board, which we need to escape the game with. And that's the end of this round. So let's take a look. So we're going to move this over here, which is very unfortunate because that means that the section we're currently in has just gone dark. There's no noise removal to do because the powered on sections don't have any noise in them. So we just go to resolving an event. So we're placing spores down 4. Now the mycelium counts as one of them, so we have a spore placed in there. And then our 3 Germinators. A spore placed in here. We have a spore placed in there, which creates a new Germinator. And a spore placed from here to there. So another Germinator. And now all purples level at 1. So we now have a level 3 Germinator there, and a level 2 Germinator at the back there. Now Intruder back development. And we have fire in the hole. Place a fire marker in the cargo sending systems A, B, and C. Each character in these rooms with no action cards in hand suffers 1 serious wound. Okay, well, you know, things aren't going especially well. One of our characters is dead. We have still got to escape with a carcass token, explore all rooms, and send the signal. So let's take a look at what we draw. So we've got repairs, demolition, quarantine, search, and a defense plan. Now we're in the alert room. So we can spend 2 cards to peek at 1 contingency tokens from the neutral pool and obtain it. So we're going to spend, this is what we're going to do this round. We're going to grab a search and a demolition. I'm going to use those to take the top from here. So they're not going to save everybody. That's a shame. There's 2 yellows, a blue, and a black left. Then we're going to use repairs and defense plan to look at the next one. They're not going to kill everyone in CSS pod. So if we can just get in the CSS pod on the way out, then we're going to be safe. And I'm going to end it there. I've got a quarantine card, but I'm going to hold on to that just in case we have any surprise attacks we have to deal with. So there's no CSS pods. We move this down 1. We don't need to worry about removing noise. We do have to worry about fire damage. So these 2 spores are destroyed. Thanks, fire. Now we have an event. Consuming fire. So first of all, our Germinators germinate down 3. Okay, so our Germinators here. Where are we going to? So 3 would be the technical corridor, so that doesn't work. This guy here places 1 over there. That doesn't work because you can't place it in a room with a Germinator. That does that way as well. This one places this way. This one goes that way. So none of these actually spread anything this round. But my mycelium marker over here puts 1 onto there. So we have 1 more of these. Next, all our purples increase by 1. So this one over here goes to a 2. That one at the very end there, that goes to a 3. And this one is replaced with a mycelium marker. Yay! It isn't looking good. Okay, and then consuming fire. Set the item counter to 0 in each room with a fire marker. Place a fire marker in each room neighbouring a room with a fire marker. Fire does not spread through closed doors or technical corridors. So fire is going to be, hopefully, helping us out. Because we could do with a bit of help here. So we've only got 2 rooms on fire at the moment. 3 actually. So fire goes into there, fire goes into there, and fire goes into there. Hopefully I'm not going to lose the game now because fire is just going to have control. But we'll see. We get a fire in there and a fire down there. I don't have many fires left. Next we have a fire there and a fire there. Intruder bag development. Adult Psych perform a noise roll. And I got a 3. Okay, so I'm going to draw my cards now. So we've already got quarantine, we get defense plan, demolition, interruption, and a search card. So I want to get rid of the last 2 of these. Well, I only need to get rid of 1 of those, maybe. actually, to know what's left. So we're going to get rid of a demolition and an interruption card to have a look at what is in here. So it's a blue. So they're going to kill anyone who has knowledge 4 or less. We know that for a fact. And then I'm going to use the defense plan to check any 2 unexplored room tiles. I can't look at their exploration tokens, but I can see what they are. So I want to check out what these 2 are down here. So we've got the transmitter control room, that's where we need to send the signal. And we have the cooling system where you can initiate the auto-destruct sequence. Okay, back to me. I'm going to use my quarantine to move into this room here. So I found the guard room where we can take equipment. There's special equipment in there, it's not just any equipment. We've been placing a spore down 2, so that changes into a Germinator. This guard room is broken. And then I'm going to use a search action in here. Why not? So it should have been set to 2. You move it down to 1. I've got 2 red items. I get to pick one and keep one. So I'm going to grab the weapon battery so I can add some energy to my weapon. Okay, so our first CSS goes, and it is B. So B is launched. Now move this down 1. Noise removal, unnecessary, but fire damage, very necessary. So say goodbye to some spores. Fire kills that. Fire kills this. Fire kills this. And fire kills this. Now for our event. Okay, so they're spreading through 2 this time. So this is spreading into here. This spreads into there. Mycelium just spreads back to the purple one. The purple one spreads to that one, and this mycelium goes into there. And then we've also got this guy here, and he's spreading right where our guy is. All greens increase by 1. There's only 1 green on the board, so that's pretty handy. And there's a power surge, so we flip the time token to its inactive side. Intruder bag development. And we get a queen. If you're in with a Germinator or Mycelium, place the queen there. Put the token aside. If not, place a Germinator there and a noise marker in each corridor connected to the room. Okay, so we've got search, repairs, rest, facility tour, and a stun. So we're going to use facility tour straight away. So we're going to move 1 space into here. We find an emergency room where we can treat our wounds. And the door closes behind us. We're going to allow that. I'm happy for that to happen. We roll for noise, but not before we place a spore marker. Roll for noise. Danger. So moving into this one is definitely going to cause an attack. So I'm going to use my rest card to use my weapon battery to add energy to our gun. We get 3 energy onto our weapon, so we're back to 5. And then I'm going to just use my repairs to move into the next room. Oh, that worked out really well because I do not have to roll for noise for this. Oh, that was very handy. is, however, a contaminated room. We gain slime when we're searching in there. Which is a shame because there's so many things in there. I think we're going to use our last 2 cards to move into here. I'm going to place a noise marker that way because we still got to check out this room. Part of me thinks we should be heading towards that vent control room though, because we could potentially take out a few people in this. Okay, that's the end of my go. So let's check out what's going on over here. We do fire damage. So there's a bit of fire, killing some things. And an event. So Queen is going to move down 1. And then 2. And all purples increase by 1, which makes sense because the Queen's just gone into there. So our 1 over there is now a Mycelium marker. If the nest is explored and the Queen is not in combat, place it in the nest. Place a stinkhorn in each room with a character neighbouring the nest. If the nest is not explored, place a spore marker in each unexplored room neighbouring a room with a character. So we only have 1 of those. And Intruder bag development. We get adults, so we roll for noise. 2, so we trigger an Intruder attack. We don't have any cards on hand, so this will go for a surprise attack. We pull out an adult. So a Stinkhorn comes out. Remember, these things are massive as well. They're not like, they look small, but budding, place a Germinator in the room. There already is one. The character gets a slime marker. Okay, we're going to use our demolition card to attack. And because we have our battle suit, we actually ignore all rules for slime, so we wouldn't have got slime with that. We can also walk through fire, so I've got a great time ahead of me. So I'm going to spend 2 ammo with this to shoot at this guy, and I always use the vantage dice when I'm in my battle suit. So, that's not good. I get a serious wound for my trouble. My guts. In showing you parts in the player phase, your character gets 1 contamination card. Yikes. Okay, we're going to attack again with... I had to use 2 cards to do that because I used 2 of those, so that's my search gone. Here's my facility tool and my repairs to attack again. It's 2 more ammo off me. And I do 1 damage to it. I should just be avoiding at this point, shouldn't I? Because none of them are going to have 1 hit point on them. Okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to use my stun. I'm going to discard 1 of my weapons to make an intruder, retreat to a chosen neighbouring room. So I'm going to discard my SMG. And he's now gone into this room here. That's the end of my go. I have to pass. I have to take a contamination card because of my guts. My guts are killing me, man. C has launched. Fire damage. So this guy takes the damage. Still alive. The spore's gone. I think that spore's in that room. I don't know though. No more fire damage to worry about at the moment. So we go on to an event. And spores are going down 2. So these guys cancel each other out. Mycelium, oh sorry, there's a door there. So the Mycelium actually breaks this door when it's trying to put spores into there. Should have done that earlier. These 2 Myceliums spawn on each other. This green one puts a spore there, and this one down here puts a spore in the isolation room. All greens increase by 1. So that one over there and that one in the room there. Place a fire marker in each explored room with a computer in sections with power. Remove this event from the game and reshuffle the events deck, including the discard pile. Well, okay, so there's 2 powered on sections. So we have a fire at the top here, and we have a fire any rooms down here with a computer that haven't got a fire marker already. Nope. So yeah, that's it. We've only got one more fire marker left, so we're pretty much at the end of our chances there. We do Intruder bag development, and it is, if you're in with a Germinator or a Mycelium, place a death cap there and resolve a surprise attack. So we have the death cap turn up, but we do not need to worry about it. Just replay that actually. I hadn't moved this down here, which would have turned this off, which meant this fire would never have got in there. So I'm just going to try to move out of this room. So I'm going to use my interruption card to do this movement. So hopefully I won't die. And we get a scratch. Character gets 1 light wound and we get 1 contamination card. But we get a move into here. And we found the nest. The character who explored this room gains 1 knowledge. We place a spore into there, but we don't do that. There's 4 items in here, but there aren't actually. And the nest is on fire. And we're slimed. We ignore it because, hey, we've got this really cool battle suit. We'll roll for noise now. 1. Which unfortunately is where that is. So, what does he get, Carol? Well, today he finds nothing. Which means we get a lot of noise instead. Okay, so we're going to use our rest card to move into here. We get a 1, so noise is coming this way. We're going to use our defense plan, our search even, to move into this area. And we cause. How about now, Carol? What's he get? So, another blank. Well, just lots of noise. He's then going to use. We're going to use these two to do a careful movement into here. We're descending into the bowels of the place now. So let's make sure we move the time tracker on this time, Adam. So node CSS, we move down 1. Then have an event. So germinating down 4. So these two do nothing. This guy germinates into there. Oh, wait. I didn't do fire damage. Sorry, so fire damage first. And then we're going to check to see if he's dead. Nope, still alive. Sorry. Now we're on germinating. So everything germinates down 4. They don't do anything. In fact, nothing germinates apart from this one up here goes into there, and this one breaks this door. Oh, I already had a noise token there. All greens increased by 1. Need a good like splat sound for these. So that one is increased as well. And coolant leak. If there's a malfunction marker in the cooling system room, start the auto-destruct sequence. If not, place a malfunction marker there. Remove this event from the game. Intruder back development. And we got a death cap, so we're doing a noise roll. 2. And we find, well, if you're in a room with a Germinator or Mycelium, place a queen there and resolve surprise stack. Put the token aside. If not, place a Germinator there and a noise marker in each corridor connected to the room in which this encounter took place, and put this token aside. So we just get noise back and a Germinator, which isn't going to last very long at all. So I just need to explore 2 more rooms. We know this has got the signal in there. So I get a repairs, quarantine, interruption, facility tour, and a contamination card. And I didn't take a contamination card last time, so I'm adding that to my deck now. So we're going to use our facility tour. Nope. We're using 2 cards, facility tour and interruption, to move carefully into this room here, which we know is the transmitter control room. It is broken though, and there are 3 items in here. No spores go out because it's a technical corridor. Did I just get rid of my repairs? No, I have repairs, so repairs and quarantine, we're going to use those to repair this control transmitter. And that's the end of my go again. No launch. Power down sections. There's nowhere left for power at the moment. Everywhere is gone. Everything is currently completely in darkness. Fire damage. 1. 2. And yeah, that stinkhorn is dead. This Germinator's dead. Okay, and then we go for an event. So everything germinates down 1. So Mycelium into there. This guy goes into the technical corridor, so that doesn't work. Mycelium, technical corridor. This one is going to spore into there. This one starts spreading up the stairs. This one spawns into here, and this one spawns into there. All greens increase by 1, so we have 1 more Mycelium. Each character in a room with a technical corridor gets 1 contamination card, which is me. Once again, I didn't pick up a contamination card, so I now have an additional 2. Replace every spore marker with a Germinator in each room with a technical corridor's entrance. That is really crap. So it's fine though, because these are going to just come straight back. The archive. think that's it. So, Intruder bag development. Adult, so it's a noise roll. 3. Technical corridor, which we have something there. So, what does he get this time, Carol? And an adult. And it's going to attack me because, well, I haven't got anything to defend myself with. And it's a smash. If the character has 2 serious wounds, they die. If not, they suffer 1 serious wound. So again, an additional serious wound. This is the knee. Cost of the first movement, including escape. Action in the player's first turn of the round is 2. So I got 1 contamination card and 4 other cards. So I'm going to use 2 cards to send the signal. So don't believe the monster stops me from doing that. The alien does that. So I've sent the signal, which means I just have to explore this room and get out with a carcass, and I've done it. I'm then going to use 2 cards to escape from combat. So I'm going to try and move into this room here. And we get a pseudopod. Place the queen in the room. If the character was attacked because of an escape action, place the queen in the room where the character has escaped. It does not attack. So the queen has come and joined me in the isolation room. That's really kind of it. And we roll for noise. Well, we shouldn't roll for noise because we're in a room with an intruder, so deal with it, punk. Fire damage. See ya, see ya. See ya, see ya. And 1 damage to the queen. So we draw a Chytrid attack. It's 5 on there. We add the lowest number, which is 3. So 8 damage to kill this thing at the moment. The event we get is the Creeping Death. All adults move down 4. All stinkhorns go down 4. So that's a real pity. That's gone there. And all green Germinators increase in value. We don't have any on the board. Place a stinkhorn and a spore marker in each room with a character and a technical corridor's entrance. Well, we're not in that, so we're fine. Intruder bag development. Got like 3 tokens left. And it is, in a room with a Germinator or mycelium, place a death cap there. If not, place a Germinator there and a noise marker in each corridor connected. So I have a ton of contamination cards in my hand now, so I feel like this is a ticking clock for me. So contamination card, contamination card, contamination card, defense plan. And I have search as well. So 3 useless cards. I'm going to use 2 of these to try to move into this area here. So wish me luck, I'm going to die now. So my first thing is a smash. If the character has 2 serious wounds, they die. Well, I think, as always with my gameplays, I made a few mistakes here and there. From the offset, I was using one of the wrong miniatures, and that's on me. But you know, as soon as I figured out, I changed that over. I'm fairly certain I was playing the rest of the rules correctly, so if I did do something wrong, please let me know, guys, because I am still learning this game. The Chytrids themselves, I think I should have spent a bit more time trying to destroy the Germinators, maybe. Then again, I don't even know if that would have helped out so much. I just needed to get the Sentry to get to that last room and then get the hell out of Dodge through his CSS pod, or do some kind of research to get his knowledge up at least one more, so that we would have been able to get him off of the actual, well, I think 2 more maybe, I can't remember. A couple more, I think. Essentially, I needed him to get to 5. If he had 5 knowledge, then great, I could have escaped with no issues whatsoever. However, I fell foul to the queen. I really enjoy this mode. The Chytrids are so different from all the other Intruders. So Intruder-wise, we always got the original Intruders. You've got the Carnomorphs, who they're more about kind of mutating people, and if there are like carcass tokens, they bad things happen with those. They kind of evolve from those. And then you've obviously got the Void Seeders, who they're all about insanity, and they kind of pop in and out of the game itself. You've got the Night Stalkers, who obviously they attack in the dark if they can, and then the Chytrids themselves. Most of the original 4, well, those 4 most like us, the humanoidy ones, they all play fairly similar with some slight tweaks. Whereas this one, there's so much more going on. This felt like they'd done a cross between Pandemic and Nemesis, because you had that whole, you've got to manage how many of these spore tokens are going out, how many Germinators are there, and the fact that, things were progressing. This is one of the only times I've played a game in Nemesis where I'm like, yes, fire is my friend. And having that battle suit was so cool, that I could just walk through fire, no issues. Unless I was playing it incorrectly, and if I was, please let me know. If I was, then I played a lot of that incorrectly, but I'm fairly certain I played that correct, but we'll see. I know you guys will tell me if that's not the case. So overall, the Chytrids, I would say that these are one of my favorite kind of aliens, I'd say. I think I need to play all of them again and have a rating system of where they go. But the Chytrids are impressive because they do play so differently. And when you're looking at expansions for games, you really want to have something which is normally changes the gameplay up a little bit, rather than a bit more of the same with a slightly different theme, which is what the others are. The Sentry and Lab Rat were quite fun to play with. I will be doing at least one more playthrough of Nemesis Lockdown, and we're going to do the reverse board, and I'll use the last 2 characters I've got left, which are the Janitor and the Xenobiologist. And yeah, we'll see what happens on the other side of the board. But yeah, thanks for watching. If you've got any comments, then please leave them below and I will get back to you. I've been the ever excitable Adam. We do this all out of sheer fun and enjoyment of the hobby. So if you would please support us so that we can make more of these videos and show you guys more really fun games, then yeah, please just like and subscribe and tell your friends, because that'll be really nice of you. So yes, thank you for watching, and until next time guys, stay safe and keep rolling.